2025, May 20th. We're asking Mr. P, does he want to come out? Is he going to come out? Are you going to come out? Come on out, P. This is our guide, garden walk, May 20th, 2025. We come out and I notice the smell of beans. Why would that be? There they are, boiling like crazy. Of course you would be too if you were sitting out in like 90 degrees and in direct sun and all that sort of stuff. It's supposed to hit like, I think 194 I measured it at in normal temperature. Star of the show today is these larkspurs. Delphinium, same thing. Delphinium somebody. This is the Texas native one. I give these away. Or like I'll sell them for $2 on eBay or whatever. Just get a hold of me if you want them. Nobody seems to do it anyway, but this is some kind of a cosmos. I'm pretty sure. Not bad. That one came from, and then the petunia over there, of course, you've met him before, or you've met his cousins. And I guess this one's a Mexican hat. It looks like a black Susan, but it's got the pointy thing in the middle. I don't know if it came from a seed mix or just what. Nice little yellow flower. It's a little too shady in here for maximum plant growth, but around here, shady is a pretty good thing in the summer. And there are several larkspurs here. In the background you're seeing the garlic, elephant garlic. Those I bought like 3 bulbs for $5 or something 20 years ago. It's not a high productivity thing, but I've eaten a few of them, and I've given away a few, and I've sold a few, and you know how that is. That's another product in the fall. We'll have them around. Kentucky Wonder Beans. They'll be all over this palette. It'll be just a big pile of beans. And then this is the Blue Lake. It's even got the Blue Lake sign on it. Oh, and you can see the Blue Lakes went in first. They've been in there, well, since the 16th, so just a little over a month. But you can see they've already found this old gate and started zipping up it. And come in here and visit my small succulent collection, which was once a fairly large one. They just get, like this one in the front, just get dark. They wither away. The little jelly beans are coming back though. I think and here's some jelly beans, and then a couple of pots of that other, whatever that thing is. This is the one they call a pine tree. And then there's a few of the hen and chicks that have survived. These guys here have just been potted up. They're actually not rooted yet. These are cane choyas. Those are my eBay items. These are something people want. These are 3 branched ones I have, and then I've got, here's 4 of the cuttings. Those are rooted already. You can't really see the new growth, but you look how they look real skinny and shrunken. That's how they are when they first root, and then once they get a really good root system on there, you can make them fat. Just water them and they buff up. And then this is a little Vinca major. You just take a hunk of this stuff and put it in a pot. Piece of that yellow mum that I have. These little ferny looking things are the perennial Starts with a C. It makes you nauseous. Supposedly it makes you nauseous. I wouldn't say it really does. The herb. I'll think of it when you don't care. And San Lorenzo tomato. Somebody gave me these as a free gift with your order. So I'm going to try tomatoes again, but around here it gets too hot for them to set seed. Some marigolds. These are the French marigold to JD's tabula, I think. Oh, that's terrible, Drake. You're forgetting everything. This is last year's sweet potatoes. You can see they're coming up out of the ground on their own. So apparently this is zone 7B. And I think it got down and just into the teens a bit. Here's a big sunflower that may be a cross between the native and the Russian giant. I'm guessing, just throwing out stupid guesses. You see these are these Palestine melons. Grow those guys. They have to fight the Bermuda grass, but everything back here tends to have to do that. This was supposed to be parsnips in here. And if you can spot a parsnip, there's a couple rows of them. No, those are buffalo gourds. Yeah, I'm not that blind, guys. Yeah, buffalo gourds. Those are not parsnips. I have these, and I have the seed too, which is what you'd want. I can save you some gourds. Just a orange-sized, thin-shelled piece of junk. But inside, it has these nasties. These are perennial. They come back every year. Over here, Mr. Potato. If you notice some junk on the ground, hey, that's compost. Don't call your compost junk. I put these in the ground about, with an inch of soil over the top of them. And then as they came up, I started heaping up low-grade compost. I don't think compost doesn't mind being insulted. I heap up low-grade compost around there, just so it all sticks and twigs and junk and raked up crap. These are red onions from last year. These are the ones that didn't get eaten. So now they're throwing up their blossoms, and then they're going to seed. They're, as you can tell, aren't those a relative of your giant garlics? Yeah, I think so. I believe they're both in the allium family, which I think has some flower type guys. And the little seedlings would be sweet peas, and this is a celebrity tomato from the grocery store. Got one of those. I'm pretty casual tomato grower because normally I just grow them. I get big green tomatoes and they don't ripen. That happens in the fall. Mr. Watermelon. That's the best one, I think. This one here. And then there's another one, and that's with that chamomile. That's what that stuff is, the mossy looking junk. There's two of them, Roman chamomile, that's a perennial, and the German is the annual. I don't know why you would grow the German. I bought both. I've had spotty luck with them. My best luck, I seeded flats and put in the greenhouse kind of early, I think in March, I guess. This is the only one, I've only gotten one cucumber to put out 9 seeds in 3-inch pots. Got this one. And I put some in the ground. I didn't. That's Mr. Eggplant. You may know Michael Franks. My baby cooks her eggplant in about 19 different ways. Sometimes she even makes them with mayonnaise. Michael Franks is really cool. I'm glad he didn't hear me do that. These are the red onions again. This row, they were $3 for a bunch, like a kind of a fistful. So that gives you some kind of an idea. These are well on their way to making a bunch of big fat guys. This is that buttercup, just watered so they fell over. The tractor was parked here. You can kind of, well, you can sort of see. The tractor was sitting here. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna get it off of those buttercups." And this here was a Troy-Bilt riding mower, which I never rode. And this is, I guess, this is what happens after all the scavengers come and stuff like that, and you're just left with the carcass, and then maybe that gets fossilized, and some paleontologist finds it and says, "Oh yeah, Troilus biltus, famous dinosaur." Those right there with the long oval leaf are, I think the right name of them is cowpen daisies. It's a yellow daisy. I called them super daisies for a few years when they first showed up around here, and I got one, and maybe it was out of a seed mix. I said, "Gee, I haven't seen those leaves before." So I was real careful about the original plant. And then when it bloomed, I was like, "Hey, this is something else." Now I've got seeds all over the place, and that's another one. You can get those from me. This is your old pal, Mr. Wheat. Forget what the variety name is. If you look at an envelope, I would probably wouldn't make it to the 1/4 inch rule if I tried to send even one of these little wheat heads. So it's like take the grains and put 20 or something in an envelope, some stupid amount that you think is still small enough that it passes with a 78-cent stamp. And I thought, you could message me on eBay and just ask me to list something like that. If I have the seeds, yeah, sure. I'll check every once in a while. The machine is always bugging me to list a quicker shipping time than 3 days. No, 3 days. You're lucky if I even remember to check eBay, so I don't want to promise fast shipping and not do it and have everybody mad and give me negative feedback. I'd rather just give stuff away. I mean, I don't need the money. I'm so used to not having it that just what the hell, it doesn't matter anymore. These are some more of those elephant garlic. These came this winter. They got put out here, and you can see they've dried quite a bit. They look like they're really suffering, but they'll just go into their summer dormancy a little ahead of the ones back there. The ones back there, there's my outside washing machine. It's a $20 Marvel that actually runs. And it has watered those other elephant garlics quite nicely. These pretty white flowers are Queen Anne's lace, the wild ancestor to a carrot. Pretty amazing that carrots came out of something like this. They have these kind of burry seeds, so they're sort of a weed. There is, I think I'm going to get some good, That's what a carrot apparently used to be like. You chewed these things up and somebody thought that was pretty neat to eat. You can make a whole thing, I guess, about that. I just mowed this yesterday. I call this the way back because it's way back in the back of the lot. I like having the pass through here because I'm kind of decrepit and my feet are screwed up and stuff like that. And so I'm not too able to rush around crashing through the wilderness. But I got my own little itty bitty bit of wilderness. Here's some more of those gourds. And here is the original cane choya. Horticultural notes, huh? See how it was branched out where a cutting was taken? Somebody else has that cutting. I bought it off eBay in there. Is it grown? There's some nice branching head. That's like about the best one I've seen if you like multiple branching heads. I probably will take that and cut it and get it to root and sell it to somebody who can afford a lot of postage because it's probably going to be like a 3-pound package. Birds are supposed to like these up. I haven't seen them get in them, but that would be a pretty nice place for somebody like a wren. I really like those little bitty birds. I thought a wren is like the sassy little things about the size of your thumb. You know, he's running around upside down eating bugs out of the cracks in the window trim and things like that. What are we looking at here? It's not how professionals put up fences. This place that even is not new. That old rusty barbed wire there is something I put up. It's not that anymore. This back fence isn't the property line. It's just to keep Poquito away from the cats. See what a mesquite tree does when it gets old? It all falls down here. This was all vertical at one time. And these are side branches. And you can go up the side branch and you see there's still a head on there. But it's in a declining phase. This is probably, though, most of 100 years, maybe. If there was anybody to take a core out of it, and you had a betting pool, I think I'd take 80 for my bet. More of the... These are not dying. These elephant garlics. One of my friends comes here and stresses down by getting in that fence and avoiding the world, or that part of the world that wants to bother him. Mr. P is the only person, the only entity that bothers him when he's back here. He's, of course, a good boy, but aren't you, P? Are you a good boy? Are you a good P? We know he is. But he's... sometimes he's just all over you, wanting attention, climbing up on you and stuff. And he's learned that some people will put up with it. Somebody cut down 2 of these. That's a century plant, aloe centuriae or something like that. And there's his brother over there. They've been here for a year. Apparently they were pruned about right at ground level by a loader. I wish whoever it was that wanted to get rid of them would have knocked them out of the ground with a backhoe, and maybe even came over here and made me a couple of holes for them. This is some kind of a perennial comeback. Those little white fluffy snow kind of flowers that fly away in the wind. Don't know what the species is. It's happily tolerated, but seldom cultivated. These guys here, you may know them, the prickly pears. These were planted, actually. Prickly pears are tricky to plant. You take the plant, you take the pads, and you throw them on the ground. Or you can get the seeds if they set pears. This is a pond, and unfortunately never sealed, so it took about 500 gallons a day to keep it up a foot below grade or so. If I had a huge supply of water with that horrible sticky red clay mixed in it that I could run into here, like a couple of tons of clay or something mixed with, I don't know how much it takes to fill this up, but to fill it over and over again and put several hundred pounds of fine clay in each time it was filled, and eventually fill up the pores that way. This is the hackberry. I did sell one pack of hackberry seeds. I don't know whether my customer got her hackberries. I think probably she did. These are the dead things falling down. Those are mine. I can go out there. I come around from the other side and save that stuff for the wood stove. The thing happens is you got this mesquite here, and he attracts the birds, which land and plop out the seeds of these hackberries. That's all hackberry. And then the hackberries tend to take over. Here we're all in mostly hackberry. There's a big mesquite there. Mesquites fall down, and leaves, branches will just break off. You can see a lot of, that's a hackberry that died there, see where it rotted off the ground. And then it all fell over, and then a top branch broke off of a mesquite and fell down and bashed into it. This is kind of like geology. There would be signs behind of some pretty violent collisions of things. This was a branch that broke off. It's been off of there a long time. Mr. Bird might move in there. That's like a perfect place to nest if you were one of those hollow nesting birds. Let me get away from the whole thing of putting tariffs on groceries and necessities that they make in China and don't even make in the United States anymore. We get back here. They're going to make it even more expensive to be poor than it was. Now here's it. Look at that thing. That's kind of your hollow tree. You could get back here at night and, I guess, narrate a ghost story. If, that was your kind of thing to do. It's actually the ghosts of firewood long since burned up. The ashes being brought back and spread around here. You can see that was a pretty big mother. That one that fell down, about 14 inches. I've had some chainsaws, but I don't right now. I'm kind of in this mode of what I really would like is for somebody else to have the chainsaw, and I'll just pay them to cut the stuff up. Somebody's using some kind of machine like that somewhere over there. We could go out front, but there's not a lot to see. I'm hoping these are daikon radish. Those kind of kale-like looking things. That would be cool if... I've had daikons the last 2 years. Tried to grow them over the winter, and both winters were quite cold. And the daikons were alive at Christmas, but they never made it to Easter. Hi, Mr. Watermelon. These are really good, these tandem disc. This is a righteous implement. That does what your rototiller does, but fast, and it does 6 feet of it at a time, like at a walking speed. If the ground is even... Oh, hey. Over there we see somebody laying around on the surface. I think he's already gone down. That's about a 400-gallon minnow tank somebody made it as. I say, I don't really know. It's got one guy in it. That's him right back there. What the heck? I can't tell where I am now. Okay, that's outside. Okay, there's the tank. Yep, he's moved. He's a pond comet. Little orange goldfish. Oh, there he is. That's him right there. He's about 6 or 8 inches long. You can see he's licking the surface. That wildlife photography must be pretty hard to do. I believe I would just get a silent camera with a motion detector to light it off, and set it up on the tank and see what I could get.